Welcome, I'm Yvonne Davis. I am the author of The Power of Manifestation, Creating the Life You Love, and a professional astrologer. So before I get started on today's video, if you're interested in booking a reading or any of my products or services, just check out the link in the box below. So today I'm going to be talking about a subject I call Tantra in your to-do list. So I want to give you a little bit of background so you can understand what that means. First of all, I want to define Tantra because you may have heard the word before, and just because of the whole marketing thing, people have come to associate Tantra with sex. And so I need to help those who do not really know what the word means to understand what it means, because then you'll understand why I'm talking about it. So Tantra is actually a word that means tool of expansion, and it has been incorporated for spiritual growth to mean a tool for consciousness expansion. But it's very different than other things we might think of as tools for consciousness expansion, because most forms of spirituality and teachings and everything are always talking about spirit as energy or something metaphysical, something beyond the physical, something that would, in other words, think about a plane of existence that is not our body, is not the planet Earth. So it goes beyond the physical, it's metaphysical. And what is unique about Tantra is that it's a spiritual philosophy, a spiritual teaching that is more like yoga, in that it intentionally brings you into your body. It brings you into the physical material world for spiritual development. So if you so that's why sometimes it's connected to spirituality, to sexuality, because they're taking it kind of to an extreme. But like I said, that's mostly just for marketing purposes. But basically what the idea is that we aren't trying to get out of our bodies. I mean, we came to planet Earth. We incarnated into these human bodies for a reason, to learn something, and to try to think that the whole purpose is to get out of our bodies, to get off this planet. Obviously that is, we will transition out, but that doesn't mean that we want to ignore this experience that we're having. We're here because we are here to learn something about being human beings on planet Earth. There's something about the physical material existence that is important to that spiritual development. So that's basically what Tantra is saying, is rather than trying to escape it and only focus on the metaphysical, we actually want to see what we can learn and how we can grow and expand our consciousness through coming more fully into our bodies, more fully into this physical and material reality. And so, so one of those ways is how we interact in relationship, how the male-female principle is definitely a tool for consciousness expansion, and so that's why it's so often spoken of in relationship to tantric principles. But that's not the only way to do Tantra. So anything related to being in your body, like yoga as an example, is a way to expand your consciousness. So what caused me to think about this was I've been reading a book recently. It's The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, which is a New York Times bestseller, and it's a really good book, so I highly recommend it if you like spiritual literature. I think the way he communicates spiritual ideas in the book is really powerful. And that's probably why it became a New York Times bestseller. So anyway, there was something he was talking about that brought some awareness into my own mind about the way that I think about things. And what that was specifically was, I talked in my last video about values and getting clarity on my values, and to stop judging myself, stop criticizing myself, stop shooting myself, and just let those natural, organic, and authentic values come to the fore, and just allow that to happen and see what would happen if I took out all the negative voices in my head. So what that brought me to was more awareness about how much there can be negative thinking in my own mind. And I think that we all have that unless we're enlightened. It's just that how much are we actually aware of it? It's because it's so much in the background. It's like you can't see the air that you breathe. It's essential. We do it all the time, but we don't think about it. We don't see it, So our negative tapes are kind of like that too. So bringing more awareness can be incredibly transformative, especially if there's something that you want to manifest or create or attract in your life. Rick Jarrow, another one of my favorite teachers, said that, and actually I've heard this repeated many, many times, that human beings have somewhere between 50,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day. And he said, if you could get just 500 of those going in the same direction, you would be unstoppable. So how we think is essential to what we create and manifest and attract into our lives. Absolutely. So the more consciousness and awareness you can bring to that, the more powerful you will be as a manifester. So I started to have more awareness around those thoughts that are in the background that just run. And one of the things I realized was when I would look at my to-do list, and this was in line with clarifying my values, when I look at my to-do list, because I make one every day, I'm always writing my to-do list every morning in my journal. And when I would look at that, I began to get more awareness around, first of all, why do I put those things on my list? Are they in alignment with my values, or are they values that I've absorbed from external people and the culture and so on and so forth? So I wanted to get more clarity about whether or not those were my values. What needs was I trying to meet? But even some of the things on the list, even if they were in alignment with my values, might still bring up some resistance in me. So as an example, those of you who are familiar to my channel, I hope you're subscribing. If you're not, please subscribe. But most of you who are familiar to my channel know that I'm in a master's program, because I've mentioned it many times. And so I have homework to do, obviously. And sometimes, I'm a typical student. Sometimes I complain about my homework. Why do I have to do this? This is too hard. I don't want to do this. I want to go out and play. I'm going to ride my bike. I don't want to have to sit here and do my homework. So I started, because I was reading the Michael Singer book, The Untethered Soul, I started to have more awareness about, like, gosh, I sure do complain a lot. Even though I'm putting it on my to-do list, I have an intention to do it. I'm doing it for a reason. It's meeting needs. It's in alignment with my values, and yet I'm complaining. And so, so I wanted to kind of like open up to that and understand, like, what is that about? And if it is on my to-do list, I have intention, it meets needs, it's in alignment with my values, then why do I feel this need to bring so much negative energy into that with all this complaining? Most of it was just unconscious. So I came to the conclusion that my to-do list, so I'm sharing this with you, I hope this will help you too. My to-do list could be my yoga. It can be my tantric practice, my spiritual practice. And I say specifically my tantric spiritual practice because it is about how I interact with my physical reality, with my material reality, because I have things to do. If I want to manifest a master's degree, I have to do the homework. As I said before, you know, there's a lot to be said for creative meditation and visualization. I absolutely support all of those techniques, but at some point, it actually does have to come into physical manifestation. We can't just gaze at our navels and think that, you know, like magically somehow a master's degree is going to appear if I don't go through that process and take action in this linear time space bound continuum. So so that's the to-do list. The to-do list is bringing that into physical manifestation, taking action. And so if I know from, you know, way up here where I'm in my spiritual values and coming down into this real physical material world that we live in, and I know that I'm in alignment, and I know that I have intention, and I know what I want to create in my life and what I want to manifest, and I have to take some actions to bring that into physical manifestation, then why am I complaining? Like, how does that serve me? It just drains me of energy. So so the idea of turning it into a tantric practice means that I can work with my to-do list as a tool for consciousness expansion. And what that means is, like, there's an alchemy that occurs. And that can lead to transformation. That can lead to more integration. It can lead to more awareness, more expanded consciousness. And so something as simple as being aware that I have made a decision, I have set an intention, then I follow through. And I do that in the clearest way possible, which means clearing out the clutter, clearing out the mental and psychic clutter. So what I'm suggesting is that you go through these processes, first of getting clarity about your values, because if something is on your list that's not in alignment with your true values, you are going to have resistance. You are going to complain inside your mind. It's almost impossible not to. So if you notice that coming up, then you want to get clarity first and foremost, if it's even in alignment with your values. And if your values are conflicting, because, you know, like I said, sometimes I want to just go out and ride my bike, but I know I have deadlines to meet. And so, you know, so there has to be some way of bringing those values into harmony with each other so that I can meet both needs. And so that might be making a decision to bike at a certain time of day or use a different form of exercise so that that can fit in at some point during the day, and then I can still meet my deadlines for my homework and other things I am committed to doing. So, so those are two things. First, making sure it's in alignment. Second, making sure that needs that are in alignment are not conflicting with each other, and that can take some negotiation with yourself or with other people. And then thirdly is just watching what happens, just getting into a really honest observational state and just saying, hey, I hear a lot of complaining going on in my head. What's that about? You know, maybe I really need to watch that. And sometimes, well, actually, I would say virtually all the time, observation is enough. Observation is a form of alchemy in itself. It will transform you by itself if you are truly, honestly observant in a non-judgmental way, and you just watch what's there, you just listen to what's there, just observe it, maybe even giving yourself some empathy. That will actually transform itself. So you don't actually have to do anything beyond what I've already laid out. So, so that's basically, those are the steps, and I want to keep this short and concise, but I hope that I've laid that out, the steps pretty clearly, and helped you to understand what I mean by the Tantra in your to-do list. And beyond that, I would love to hear like how the process is going for you. If you're manifesting something, if you've set an intention to create, to attract, to manifest something that's important to you, and that may be internal a state of consciousness that you want like to be more in joy and bliss or more present, or something external, like, for example, to be able to do work that you're passionate about, or to have a relationship that you're passionate about. Home, like I said, we live in this material reality. We like to have a material experience that makes manifest our values. So so if any of those things are things that you have set for yourself and that you've been working toward, I would love to hear how that journey is going for you. And if you have any questions or confusion or concerns that are coming up that you would like to get some answers on. So if you do, please leave some comments in the comment boxes below. And also, like I said, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And if you like the video, please click like. And I think that pretty much sums it all up. So I will look forward to hearing what all of you have to say about this, because I love the dialogue and the communication, and I feel really connected to my viewers. So I thank you for that, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.